The chairs creak in rhythm as my fellow graduates squirm in their seats, the late December sun pressing down through the open flaps of the rented marquee beside the university's stone halls. I stand at the podium, millions of tiny pinpricks of nervous sweat gathering at my temples and in the pit of my back beneath my cheap graduation robe. I was valedictorian, picked, some said as a joke, others with surprise. I can barely balance the little note cards in my hands, even though I'd rehearsed this speech a dozen times in the bathroom with the door locked. My mother sits in the third row, her lips pursed in that line, face impassive, twin points of disappointment in her gaze. She adjusts her headscarf, shielding her eyes not from the sun but, I know, from the reality of seeing her only child standing here, about to proclaim the ludicrous dream she'd tried to erase from me. I clear my throat. There's a ripple of laughter when I begin. Old friend from Brixton, Sizwe, shouts, "Give us the secret, Thabo." There's something mocking in his tone. I grip the podium. My hands tremble, but I keep talking. And so, I want to thank everyone who encouraged me in my dream to bring robotics, real, not just fantasy, to South Africa, to the world, starting right here in Josie. I know what people say. That's as far as I get. Some uncle, not really related but old enough to claim the role, bellows from the crowd. "Dreamer, go make yourself a robot girlfriend, Nee. Maybe then someone will listen." There's a snapping in my chest, a hot, sharp pain I clutch at with my heart. Laughter like clapping waves, rising everywhere, relatives, peers, even the scatter of professors up front twitch their lips in an embarrassed attempt at concealment. I stare out, 4 cards in my sweating hand, fury and humiliation swirling and colliding in my stomach. I try to continue, smile frozen, but even the DVC, her gown a brilliant splash of crimson, gently touches my arm, leaning in. "We may need to move on, Mr. Maziko." Her whisper is gentle, but her eyes plead for order. The next speaker, the economics gold medalist, already stands awkward, waiting to take my place. I force a nod, swallow everything I want to say, and step away from the microphone. That moment, rage clenched and stifled in my throat, burns into my mind so deeply that for years afterward it's as if the world pauses there, hanging, and everything that follows is a kind of answer to that humiliation. After the photos are taken, I stand by the plastic tables stacked high with finger foods. My mother sidles up to me, glancing over my shoulder as if she expects the robots I build to come tumbling out behind me. She keeps her voice low, clipped. "I hope now you see, this is not the place for such big talk, Thabo. These things, they aren't for children of this city. People don't want to hear it." I want to shout back, but I clench my jaw, remember restraint. I just nod and walk away, leaving her by the cool drinks, humming her sad, aimless tune. For months, that is all I carry, rage shared with nobody. Nights when I walk the cracked pavements from our flat in Mayfair, shoes scuffing against bottle tops and broken bricks, I picture what I'd say to them if I had the words. Whole arguments bubbling up, clever retorts too late. My mother says I am sulking. I barely talk to anyone, not even Sia, my closest friend, who tells me he's already applied to work for his cousin's auto parts business. Opportunities in Johannesburg are as scarce and valuable as shade in the noon sun. I apply everywhere, factory floors, tutorial gigs, small tech startups. One night I get a call from a company in Rosebank, a name I don't recognize. They want a junior intern, no pay but space to tinker with machines and ideas. In my tight room with my mother's disappointed sighs drifting under my door, I clutch the battered phone and say yes. The workspace is cramped, a windowless warehouse with too many tables and not enough stools. Laptops and circuit boards ring the room. I am the only black engineer here. The others are white, Indian, one young woman with burnt orange braids, British accent sharp as broken glass. Their small talk slides past me, high-level jargon mixed with heavy skepticism when I tell them my background. They do not mock me the way my family did. Their doubt is all in the way they leave me the worst tools, the hardest code, and never invite me for coffee. Still, this place becomes my sanctuary. I have a key and sometimes work till dawn, soldering, assembling, debugging junk. I eat 2-minute noodles hunched over a schematic, dreaming of bipedal walkers, assistive arms, little bots to sort recycling for informal shack settlements out in Orange Farm. No one at home asks what I do or how it's going. 2 years in, I build a prototype. It's ugly, lumbering on scavenged metal legs, more buzzy than beautiful, but real, something no one else here tries. I write up a white paper and send it to a local conference, tweaking my language to sound less brash. The day it's accepted, I want to call my mother, but I don't. I have learned not to expect celebration. At the conference's end, a man approaches, grey suit, American accent, careful handshake. He heads an NGO for urban tech, wants to run a pilot in several Johannesburg townships. My bot, he says, is rough but promising. I smile, measured, holding back the wild leap in my heart. He is the first outside myself to see the value. He flies me to Cape Town for training. We travel to Delft and Khayelitsha. Kids shriek when the robots trundle along the streets, cleaning debris, alerting us to potholes, learning from sensors. I work 14-hour days, hands raw, head aching from code. Yet for the first time I feel useful, not just dreamer, not joke, but the beginnings of proof. The NGO folds after a year, funds vanished into some invisible ledger. But my designs catch the eye of a local investor, a Zulu woman with a deep musical laugh and a history in agri-tech. She sits across from me in her glass-walled office atop the Carlton Centre. Robots aren't toys, she warns. If you make children's games, people will keep laughing. Make something that changes life here and now, not sci-fi. I'll back you, otherwise I won't waste a cent. Rage flares again, old humiliation, but this time I bend it into steel resolve. I pitch ideas, draw, revise, discard. We settle on agricultural bots, simple, tough, built for rural fields hammered by floods and droughts. I hire a team, unemployed cousins from the old days, sharp kids from the township, one grumpy boar who cannot say my name right but works with silent skill. We build in Soweto, in a derelict factory that smells of old dust and burnt wire. Week by week our bots improve, rolling, planting, reading the land, alerting for pests. People arrive skeptical and leave quiet, thoughtful. I become more cautious, never overpromising in public. We deploy 6, then 12, then 30 bots. A tech magazine writes a profile, calls me Johannesburg's Turing. I hate it, but it brings in buyers. Every rand goes back into the business. My mother's phone calls are brief now. She asks if I'm eating, then tells me about a cousin who needs work. I visit her less. The old bitterness is still there between us, calcified, unspoken. 3 years after graduation, someone forwards me a clip. A local morning show invites my mother, having raised the city's new robotics star. She sits upright, lips tight as always, but the anchor's questions leave her flustered. I didn't always see it, no, she admits to the camera. People laughed, you know how people are, but Thabo, he is a stubborn child. She pauses, blinking into the lights. He showed us. I listened to the broadcast 3 times, feeling old wounds twist, never quite closing. My return, I realize, is overdue, so I call her. Ma, I'm coming back to Mayfair. There's something I want people to see. I feel the old nervousness rising, restraint over rage. She is silent, then finally says, you will eat with us first and then you do your showing, but you don't have to fight anymore, Thabo. You have done enough, niece. But it is not enough. I arrange a demonstration at the primary school where I once built cardboard bridges in aftercare. I tell Sizwe, my old friend, now managing the bottle store, and he spreads the word. A DJ volunteers speakers. My investor arranges for press, local and national. Posters go up. One in the window of my uncle's corner tuck shop catches in the wind, face half obscured by an ad for cigarettes. On the morning of the event, the street is crowded with faces. Children squirming, skeptical elders, curious housewives, reporters stacking tripods. My mother stands off to the side, arms folded tight as always wary. There under the jacarandas I stand with my team. Behind us our machines line up. They are not smooth, gleaming Hollywood robots. They look like tired appliances, chunky and battered, painted in bright childlike colors. My heart hammers as the old familiar faces stare at me. I breathe in and step forward. My voice when I give the introduction is steady. Gone is the nervousness of youth. When I was last here, I spoke of things that weren't real yet. Today, I want you to see with your own eyes what's possible when you refuse to listen to laughter and instead listen to what's needed. I gesture and our bots rumble forward. The first one zigzags along the painted playground, a maze of bottle tops and trash laid overnight by local kids. Its cameras scan, arms scoop and sort the refuse, sensors blinking. Another larger bot trundles up the curb, drills tiny holes, dropping sunflower seeds as soil churns. An urban garden in 3 minutes, performed for a starved cement ground. People shift, some gasp, a ripple of approval growing. Chatter dies to wonder as one bot stops and with a careful arm passes a ball to a waiting little girl, small, shy, grinning, who shrieks with laughter. A boy, no older than I was when I first dreamed, runs up to me. Did you make them? He asks. With a team, I say, but yes, we built them here. Murmurs pulse through the crowd. An old teacher, Miss Buthelezi, calls out from the line, "Who laughed before Thabo? Who can laugh now?" My chest tightens, not from rage this time, but restraint, still holding tears at bay. I scan the crowd. Some faces look away in shame, others beam sheepish. Sizwe waves, shouts my name. My uncle, arms crossed, now nods, admitting nothing but blinking faster than normal. The press surges in, snapping pictures. My investor claps my shoulder. Reporters thrust microphones. "How did it feel?" they ask. "What message do you have for South Africa's dreamers?" I think of the night walks, the silent years, every meal eaten alone at a workbench. I think of my mother, lips pursed, gaze uncertain as the world realizes her son's ridiculous dream is on display, undeniable in steel and silicon and motion. I pause at the mic, I don't smile. You will be mocked, you will carry rage if you let yourself dream something different. It will hollow you out or it will fill you up if you learn to hold it, not spill it. They will only understand when you show them, not when you beg, so you must keep going until they have no choice but to look. The crowd is silent, save for the robots trundling, beeping softly, living proof of the vision they all dismissed. After the demos end, as the crowd files out, my mother approaches. She waits until my team disperses, so it's just the two of us under the spreading branches, sun flickering through the leaves. She's quiet for a long time. "I see now," she says finally, her voice is thin and trembles once. "It was easy to laugh for them, but you kept holding on." I bite back the urge to say more, to uncoil years of rage. I just lay a hand on her shoulder. "I did, Ma, because I couldn't run from it." She looks at me, and for the first time since I was a child, her eyes are soft, wet. "Maybe now we can both be proud." I look out at the playground where the bots still move, watched now by new eyes, children, dreamers, and doubters alike. "Maybe, Ma, maybe now we can't." And in that moment, past rage, past restraint, something like peace settles in my heart. I am home, the dream is real, and this city will never laugh in quite the same way again.